All right, let's do another deal in focus. Have you ever wondered how a movie gets made without a giant Hollywood studio backing it? Well, today we're diving deep into the world of independent film to see exactly how a project goes from just a script to something you can actually watch. I mean, that's the big question, right? We all see the massive blockbusters, but what about those smaller, more character-driven stories? How in the world do they find their way from an idea to the screen? That's exactly what we're going to break down. So first things first, what even is an indie film? Think of it like this. If a studio blockbuster is this huge, all-you-can-eat buffet, an indie film is more like a carefully crafted tasting menu. It's really defined by its limits. It's got a contained scope, a laser focus on execution, and it's usually built for a very specific audience. Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start with the basic idea behind our case study film. Then we'll look at how its story connects with a surprisingly huge market. We'll check out the team making it, unpack the nuts and bolts of the deal itself, and finally, we'll get real about the risks versus the opportunity. So the movie at the heart of our deep dive today is called We Could Be Heroes. And at its core, it's a really tightly focused story, designed from day one to be made efficiently without, sacrificing the good stuff. And you gotta hear this premise. It's a dark, funny film noir, but the detective is a quick-witted gamer girl. How cool's that? It's a total genre bender that just feels fresh. Her whole quest kicks off trying to find her stolen console, but that simple mission, well, it spirals into something way, way bigger. Look, a cool concept is one thing, but that's not enough to get a movie made. The story has to connect with an audience. This is where that creative vision smacks right into the hard reality of the market. And this is where the strategy gets really smart. You hear gamer girl, and you might think, oh, that's for a niche crowd. But nope, the whole approach here is to use gaming as a kind of universal connective language. It's the world the story lives in, but it's really about the characters and the humor, which makes it totally accessible whether you're a gamer or not. And the potential audience for that language? It is absolutely staggering. As of 2024, there are 3.3 billion gamers on the planet. I mean, just to put that into perspective, that's more than a third of the entire global population. This isn't a niche anymore. It's a massive global community. And they spend money, a lot of it. In the US alone, spending on video games hit $57.2 billion this year. So we're not just talking about a passive audience. This is a market that is super engaged and willing to invest in its entertainment. That is a huge factor for a film like this. And this right here, this is the bullseye. 36% of gamers in the US are between 18 and 34. That is no accident. The movie's main character, its themes, everything is tailor-made to click with this core demographic. It's a creative choice backed up by some serious market data. Okay, so you've got a smart story and a huge potential market. Great start. But in the indie film world, an idea is pretty much worthless if you can't actually make the thing. The team is everything. And the team behind this project brings some serious experience. You've got Mark Elias, the writer-producer, who has spent over 15 years in front of the camera on big network shows, so he knows what works. Then there's producer Paul Imami, with 3 decades of experience, and executive producer Ivan Williams, who's managed projects with budgets totaling over $60 million. These are not first-timers. They know how to get a movie across the finish line. And this quote, man, this just hits the nail on the head. So many projects have these huge, ambitious ideas, but they totally fall apart during production. The key takeaway here is that a team with a proven track record of actually finishing films drastically lowers the risk for anyone putting money into it. So, we've got the creative, we've got the team. Let's talk about the money. How does a project like this actually get funded? And what does the path to a potential return look like? This film is being funded, in part, through something really fascinating called regulation crowdfunding, or RegCF. And honestly, this is a total game changer. It basically lets everyday people invest in projects that used to be completely locked away, available only to industry insiders and venture capitalists. It's like the democratization of an entire industry. So what's the life cycle here? Well, first, the team uses the money raised to finish the film on a strict budget. Step 2, they hire a specialized sales agent to take it to market. The strategy isn't just one big theatrical release, it's about getting the film onto multiple platforms. Think streaming services, on-demand rentals, that kind of thing. And finally, revenue starts to come in over time as those different licensing deals pay out. Now, we've talked a lot about the upside, but this is independent film we're talking about. Any smart look at a deal like this has to be clear-eyed about the risks. It's all about balancing that opportunity with a healthy dose of reality. And this slide lays it out perfectly. It's the two sides of the same coin. On one side, you have the pitch, an experienced team, a massive market, a clear scope, a modern plan. But on the other side, that's the reality. An experienced team doesn't guarantee returns. A big market is also a super competitive one. And no matter how great the plan is, you just can't predict how audiences will react. So let's be crystal clear about the core risks. The hard truth is, many independent films do not make their money back. Any capital you put in is illiquid, meaning it's tied up for a long time. Audience taste is totally unpredictable, and the economics of streaming platforms, they can change overnight. These are the fundamental risks here. So where does that leave a project like We Could Be Heroes? Well, its appeal isn't some promise of a lottery ticket. It's grounded in transparency. Yeah, it's a high-risk venture, but it's one that tries to lower some of that risk with a proven team and a disciplined, realistic plan. It's really a bet on execution in an industry that's famous for being, well, a little chaotic. Which leaves us with this huge, industry-shaking question. With new financing models like this, where the public can actually greenlight the projects they want to see, are we watching a massive power shift? Is the audience, in effect, becoming the new studio? It's a powerful idea and a pretty cool place to end this deep dive.